You may want to focus on lower ticket products. The highest value activity you can do is find good accounts. Once you get one good brand, you should probably not even try to get any more.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
In this call, we have Bree, who's a new seller and also happens to be in my course, and we're going to talk to her and see how we can unblock her and get her going. Stay tuned. Hey, Bree, it's Dan. How are you?
Hey, Dan, I'm great. Thank you for your time today.
Yeah, so hopefully I can provide some good tidbits of wisdom here for yourself and anyone that will eventually be listening to this. Tell us a little bit about your background, when you got into Amazon, why you got into Amazon, and roadblocks.
So I launched my store the first week of February this year. And I
Awesome.
started out doing strictly OA. And I discovered that, I was all right at it. Definitely made the all the predictable newbie mistakes, rookie mistakes, but those were all kind of like learning opportunities, I think. So
Sure.
I hit my first like 10K week about 4 months in.
Nice.
And now I'm kind of somewhere in the messy middle.
Yeah.
Like more complexity, better opportunities, a better view, optics on the path to real scaling.
Yep. Yep.
And I found your program. And after losing like what had been my kind of two big hits in OA that were like my big brands, and for one reason or another, having to let those go and my monthly revenue taking a hit, I got into about 50K months, about 7 or 8 months in, I forget which month, and kind of dropped significantly.
So the two brands you lost, were the brands gated, or did you receive messages, hey, we don't want you selling, and you got spooked, or what happened with those brands?
It was a mix of both. So it was actually kind of three. The first one was Craftsman, and that just got hard regated. And when I say regated, I mean I reapplied 45 separate times with different invoices from no less than 6 distributors that were like, they were just, girl, no. Anyway, then I pivoted into DeWalt and had such big wins. Like anyone who's in tools just knows it's so good when you finally discover it. And DeWalt, so the thing with that is like technically, I could still list it and everything, but I got, a cease and desist, which sometimes you can move beyond for sure. And was like, kind of scared, like, oh god, they actually have the money to like make a demonstration out of one of us.
Sure,
And,
sure.
and then the third one is actually a weird one. Being in healthcare, there was a supplement brand that I've been selling with a somewhat transparency, kind of between wholesale and OA. And they have two versions of this product that the company manufactures that are their big sellers. And I was selling on both variations on the listing. And then like one of them got regated as an ingestible, but yet I still sell tons of the other version that is technically also ingestible. So I don't know. I don't ask.
Losing brands, yeah, definitely hurts. And OA, I mean, at the end of the day, none of them want you selling their products. None of them know who you are. So I think you're definitely very smart to transition into working with brands directly, buying from authorized distributors. So, but on that note, it's it's a little bit more of a barrier to entry, learning curve. It takes some practice to land some brands. So I want to ask, with where you're at now, have you landed any brands? If not, what are your main stumbling blocks right now? And I'll see if I can give you some good answers and advice.
Amazing. I'm so excited for this. So, okay, so I've definitely had some early wins, and I've definitely also connected with the like, oh man, this is like a big hill to climb kind of feeling. But I also have this perspective that once those first couple wins get me some traction, it'll in some ways become probably a little bit easier and with some experience. So that's been, helpful, just being in the company of other people who are like just a little bit ahead of me or a lot ahead of me in your community. So where I'm at is I landed my first brand direct account like almost by accident. It kind of fell in my lap and it happened pretty early. And it's actually a really big brand in Europe. And so I'm working closely with the COO of that company here in the US. And so hoping to move in a more exclusive direction sometime in 26. And, there'll be a timeline on that, but that's kind of working well. I had reached out to a major supplement company as a brand direct and wound up having a conversation with their head of sales about potentially being the head on launching their female focused sports nutrition brand in the US next year. So like there's some stuff that's kind of cooking. Yeah. And then I would say the other thing is that just like buying through your program, through the distribution opportunities, that's given me like a more steady, low friction velocity as I'm pivoting.
Yeah.
It's been real valuable.
Yeah, that's great to hear. Yeah.
Mhm.
yeah, the distribution can pay for itself on the program costs several times over with the right buys, and we're looking to 10x that, and it's under construction. But glad to hear that you're getting some value out of that.
Oh, 100% game
Yeah.
changer.
Awesome, awesome. I know I said this in the Discord chat, but I think you should absolutely play, your whole wellness background and large Instagram following into all of your outreach, especially if you want to go into, health, beauty, supplements, anything in that arena. I think you have actually a massive, massive leg up because of
Mm.
how well you present yourself, the social proof you have already, and that you're also a medical practitioner. I think that gives you just a massive, massive leg up. And I'm gonna suggest something too, which has really little to do with Amazon, but might be a really good opportunity for you. And you've possibly looked into this already, but doing like user generated content. So like Amazon influencer program, TikTok affiliate stuff. There are people making absolute killings just promoting certain supplements and wellness products. And I think you could be really, really good at that. It's also something you can pitch to brands too. If you've already made some UGC or review videos or something on your Instagram or YouTube, you can actually send them those samples. Like I can do a video in this style, hitting especially people like if you know who your demographic is that follows you and you find a brand that aligns with that, you can say my demographic is exactly who you're marketing to. I can do user generated content and actually put those videos on Amazon listings, TikTok listings, and drive a lot of traffic that way. So just a random side thought, side quest for you, but actually could pay off huge. I know personally some people who do Amazon influencer and TikTok videos netting like 30, 40K a month, just working with like two or three brands. So just a, yeah, random word of advice there, something you could possibly look into. And
Absolutely. Thank
and
you.
yeah, for sure. And your the supplement category is probably like one of the most, if not the most, locked down categories on Amazon.
Yeah. Yeah.
The companies are very sophisticated. They before they even launch, they have like a very sophisticated Amazon strategy. Typically sell themselves or go 1P to Amazon or partner exclusively. So you're kind of entering like the big leagues. But that said, the supplement space is also enormous, and there are supplement brands of all shapes and sizes. So not to say that there's no opportunity at all. I think there's still plenty, but if you're going after these mega brands, I mean, working with them for Amazon US in that capacity might be pretty tough, but the small to medium ones I think are still up for grabs. So it sounds like you're in a pretty fun spot where like maybe you've gone beyond like netting your 5 to 10,000 solo operation into trying to get into a different stratosphere, like your, $200,000-300,000 month revenue months, 50K plus profit months, and trying to find like how to scale that. Are you having any difficulty scaling beyond, doing all this yourself, or what does your team look like? What's your plan? And anything I can help you with, let me know.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, massively. Yeah, I have a very specific question for you actually.
Okay.
Time constraints as a solo mom. So I am running two businesses. I still see patients a day a week. I run this business between the hours of 8 a.m. and 3 p.m. when I go pick up my kid and hopefully fit a workout in there. So I'm building clean systems. I have a VA, and I need help refining the highest leverage activities I can personally double down on versus offloading because I don't I wind up trying to do it all. Just
Sure.
but how to a lot brand outreach versus how much emphasis to put on nailing down one or two solid distributors. How do I design the next 90 to 120 days in terms of like what to automate, what to delegate, what to personally double down on?
Let me ask you, are you doing all of your product prep yourself or are you using a prep center for?
Yeah. I use a prep center.
Okay, that's
To
good.
reasonable rates, but at the moment I had to do it that way just because limited time and limited space.
Okay.
And then like eventually when I get to that, basically when I'm able to take enough of an owner's draw to support myself and my kid, my next step would be like grab a local small warehouse space or something and have, a person that I hire to help me with
Sure.
kind of thing.
Yeah,
I'm not
I
quite there yet.
I'd say for now, yeah, prep center is perfect. It's essentially delegating the physical prep work. So when I was a one person show my first year, I spent a lot of my time doing prep. That was the first thing I outsourced, but it sounds like you've already done that, which is great. And then I would say the highest value activity you could do for yourself is find good accounts, good profitable accounts. I'd say the more time you can spend doing that, the better. The actual product analysis, I think that would be the perfect opportunity to delegate to someone, show them how to go through a list, check, keep a charts, check a profit calculator, that type of stuff, how to go brand by brand. One tip I have for big catalogs, if you don't want to use a scanning software, most of these catalogs are organized by brand, and you can put a filter on the sheet where you can just filter, go one brand at a time, cross-reference that with Smart Scout, and see, is the brand selling 1P to Amazon, or do they have an exclusive, or are they selling? And you can determine whether the entire brand on the brand level is worth even looking at the products or not. And then often you can turn 100,000 line catalog into 1,000 lines or 5,000 lines, something a lot more manageable, where you're just focusing on the brands with multiple third-party sellers, and you can actually resell these brands. Because a lot of distributor lists, they'll just have a bunch of junk on there where it's just immediately ruled out because Amazon.com is retailing the product, or the brand themselves are retailing the product. So that's a little hack to like narrow down a huge list that you could then show, a virtual assistant how to do that. And then, with a little training, you can basically pass on the price list you get to somebody else, and then basically say, like, find the gold out of here and let me know which products work or which products are close. Because often with distributor lists, you might find some stuff that's break even or 5% margin, and that might be close enough actually to keep on the list, and then talk to your rep about it. What if I got a large quantity of this? Can you go a dollar or two lower on this? And then it brings me to my 10-15% margin. So I'd say the product analysis would be a great thing to teach and outsource with some videos. And then I think the very best use of your time would be having conversations with brands, trying to land partnerships. And with limited capital, the good news, the one silver lining of limited starting capital is that once you get one good brand, you should probably not even try to get any more, because all your capital is going to be tied up immediately in stocking those products.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would say try to find like one solid opportunity, and then go all out with the capital you do have to do the absolute best job of staying in stock and carrying as many of the products as possible. And then, yeah, usually new sellers, they'll have a supplier problem, which is they have capital to spend, not enough good products to sell, and then they get one good account, and then all of a sudden they have a capital problem where they have good products to sell, but not enough money to even stay in stock. So it's things are going to change, like flip on you pretty quickly, I think, once you've done that. So,
I invite that problem.
yeah. And then the last thing I'll say is about compounding your capital as fast as possible. So you may want to focus on lower ticket products that have a high ROI. And what I mean by that is there are products out there through distributors or even brands where the buy cost is maybe $1 a unit or $2 a unit, and the profit on those are $1 or $2 a unit. So you're talking about a 100% ROI on your buy cost on those lower ticket items, and that's going to double your capital in 3 months. Whereas on the other hand, if you, let's say, got an electronics brand, each item might cost $300, and maybe you make $50 a piece on them, but that $50 is only a 15% ROI on your money, and a return can really wipe you out too, or multiple returns. So while the gross profit per unit might be higher on a high ticket item, you're going to compound your capital a lot slower actually than the low ticket, like high ROI items, if that makes sense.
Absolutely. Wow. I never thought about it like that.
If I were you, I would try to compound your capital as fast as possible. So fast selling items with high ROI, which sounds so obvious, but like a lot of people don't really think about, as the sale price goes higher, your ROI just goes down, period. Even though your profit margin might be similar, your ROI is going to be lower the higher you go in price point. So yeah, hopefully that gives you something to think about. And yeah. Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Just recapping the conversation with Bree just now, that was really cool. She has a really cool background as a health practitioner and great personality. I think she's going to kill it with the brands eventually once things click for her. Really, she should lean in more to her practitioner background, and maybe there's some possible ways into Amazon US kind of through the side door, meaning like maybe by doing UGC content or selling on another channel, or really relating with the actual messaging and health benefits of the brand she's working with. So I've no doubt that she's going to land a few of these. I think she could be a great ambassador for some of the brands that she's contacting. So excited to see where that goes. And then another key takeaway that I think Bree got some value out of, which is how to compound your capital. So if you're starting with, let's say, $5,000 or $10,000, how do you get it up to that 100,000 level where you can do some big serious orders with some major brands? And I think the fastest way to do that is, again, selling low ticket products. So take products in the $5 to $10 range on Amazon, where the buy cost is ultra low, 50 cents, a dollar, $2, but then the profit is basically as much as it costs. So you spend a dollar on a product, after Amazon fees, you sell it and make a dollar. So your $1 becomes $2. That's a 100% ROI. That's a way to really quickly compound your capital versus the high ticket stuff where, let's say the buy cost is 200, you make 50 bucks. Great, you made 50 bucks instead of $1, but your ROI on your capital is only 20%. So for anyone wondering, how do I get that capital up as fast as possible? That's my absolute best advice. Focus on ROI. And that's why there's two main metrics for looking at evaluating products. There's profit margin, which is great, which is how much profit relative to the revenue of the sale, but there's also ROI. How much did you make? What was your return on that buy cost? And that can be really, really important to look at, especially as you have limited capital and want to grow it as fast as possible. So I'm very excited to see where Bree's going to take things in the next quarter and beyond. I have a feeling she's going to be selling more than me in 5 years, but we'll see. So I'll check back in with her in a few months, hopefully. And yeah, thanks for watching another hotline, and we'll have more to come. Thanks. If you want to learn directly from me and gain access to the system that's helped me scale to over $80 million of sales, and this is the same exact system who's helped countless students scale their businesses, like Andy, for instance, who was doing $20,000 a month with RA, not bad, but now he's doing over 10 times that within a year, doing $250,000 revenue months. Or like Joey, who learned our brand direct strategy and is now doing $110,000 orders directly from brands instead of $500 arbitrage orders. Or like my man Kenny, also from Massachusetts, applied our coaching, went from arbitrage to now doing millions in revenue per year and netting $300,000 his very first year taking our program. So again, if you want to learn directly from me and learn the exact system that took me to over $80 million of sales on Amazon and countless other students as well, then click the link below and book a call. We'll see if we're a good fit for each other. And thanks again for watching.